I would argue first that we should go out of the identity debate, because everyone is an identity, everyone is values. Values are changing all the time, which is the great game, because we can spend the next century talking about values, and every time you think that you'll get the values will have changed. So, I mean, you will never fit in this kind of box. So, there is something that I kind of like in the French republicanism in that sense, even if it would be set from a Belgian perspective, is that there is, if I'm correct, it's the agreement to the principles of the state, of the nation, that is founding citizenship and everything. So this is something like an understanding that we share something in common, and I would say in Europe it should be the Fundamental Rights Charter. I think that it's clear. Of course, we can go in interpretation about the weighting between the different rights, but at least there's something you can tick. I respect that, so I'm part of the story. But the thing would be and I think that Muslim young people are definitely looking for that. They would love to have that. The question is, as I said in my speech, is, but what's the reverse side? And then we see that the interpretation of the fundamental right is changing always to fit the wills of the majority. And so we have here a problem of trust and matching.
Interestingly, in places like Scotland and in Wales, people will say, oh, I'm Scottish Pakistani, or I'm Welsh Chinese. So the people who are, and in England, the tendency now also for people to self-define as English, that's not majority, but the people who most strongly identify now as British first are ethnic minorities in England and Protestants in Northern Ireland. So you kind of have a United Kingdom where the people who identify most strongly are those for historical reasons and those who are relatively recent kind of minorities. But I think identity is obviously a multi-level thing. I don't see how it couldn't be, but it's also a situational thing. You know, you're more English at some times and you're more European at others. I feel very European when I'm outside of Europe. I feel very British when I'm inside Europe.
So assimilation means that you cannot be visibly from any extra-European background. And regarding the election of François Hollande, I think that there is now a huge difference in the public discourses. But if you take, for example, the Roma situation, the policies that has been chosen for immigration or for deportation is still the same. There is no difference between in these policies between Manuel Valls, who is now the Minister of Interior, and Claude Guéant. The Roma people don't see any. The Roma people that live in camps don't see any difference. So I think that Sarkozy has been using a kind of tokenism by appointing people from diverse backgrounds in the government, and then he obliged François Hollande to do the same in his government. And it's funny to see that it came from the right part of the political landscape. But for example, in the socialist program, there was a statement that was explicitly against racial and ethnical data, and I don't think that in the next 5 years, if there will be any progress regarding this issue, because the left part of the political landscape in France is very, very against the collection of data, and it's interesting to see that François Hollande decided to appoint Najat Vallaud-Belkacem as the Minister of the Women's Rights and not a Minister of Equality. It means that I think that the majority don't want to show to the French people that they really care about minorities, because they are seen as having been too much taken care of. We hear the discourse that we have given millions and billions of euros to the suburbs. So now the left want to show that they don't only care for minorities, and I think that the next 5 years will not be the years where there will be much progress. We can see that. I'm working now on racial profiling. We have made a proposal to the Socialist Party, and the Minister of Interior is really blocking the proposition. So I'm not that optimistic about that.